Hello, Sean Scorvo here. Like most of us, COVID-19 has taken a big toll on my life and on my livelihood. I'm grateful, of course, to be healthy, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't also worried about what this crisis will mean for my job, my household, and the health of those around me. I think most Oregonians share similar concerns. We want to be back at work and back to normal as soon as possible, but responsibly. We've heard a lot in recent weeks about opening our economy, protecting public health and safety, and constitutional rights. But what we haven't seen are workable solutions that balance the three. Testing, tracing, and quarantining are vital on the medical front, but the path to that capability is long, and given the failures of our government to date, we may incur a lot of damage over the months it will take to spool that up. At the same time, our economy is in bad shape, and our personal finances are taking a hit. But opening up too soon without structure will only serve to prolong and deepen the damage. And as a constitutional democracy, we're legally bound to respect everyone's rights in whatever plan unfolds, taking several options available to other countries off the table in the US. The situation is enough to make a person's head explode with the contradictions. But it's actually an even bigger issue because this is not a unique event. Pandemics have occurred on average once every 5 years since 2000, and we can expect them to occur again with greater frequency given our global economy and climate change. It feels like an impossible problem, but I have a legislative proposal that can get Oregonians back to work while containing the spread of this deadly disease, and that allows us to transition to a wartime footing when something like this happens again. How? By trusting the intelligence and the common sense of people, but verifying that we are all doing our part. In short, we use Ronald Reagan's trust but verify approach to the Cold War. Only in this case, it's the virus war. Here's a high-level view of how it works. If you're like most Oregonians, you're listening to health experts and you're taking precautions to keep yourself and your family safe from infection. That's a good thing, and you should have every right to return to work so long as you're following the guidelines and avoiding hazardous situations that put yourself and others at risk. If you're doing that and your employer is doing their part, but God forbid you still get sick, no one can hold you responsible because it was out of your control. But there are others who will ignore the science and dismiss the warnings. They're inviting disease, and unfortunately, they are likely to get it. How do we avoid the harm that they can cause? To answer that, let's look at the worst case scenario. Say that you do get sick with COVID-19 and you need to be hospitalized, but the life-saving item you need, like a particular drug or a ventilator, isn't available because the person who dismissed all the warnings got sick too, and he took the last of that particular item, leaving you to suffer and perhaps die. This is the scenario that the stay-at-home movement is pleading with us to prevent. But how do you identify the ones not pulling their weight in this situation and keep them from harming the ones that you love? Trust but verify. That's really what this comes down to. We need to trust people to do the right thing, but if they didn't, they ought to be held accountable. Under my proposal, choosing to behave irresponsibly amid a public health emergency would be akin to driving while intoxicated. We trust people not to get behind the wheel after drinking, but we don't park a police car outside of every bar or party to prevent it. However, if they get behind the wheel and they get caught, or if they hurt someone, that drunk driver is responsible for their negligence, and the fear of the consequences prevents a lot of that reckless behavior. At its core, that's what my proposal will do. And it will accomplish its goal of preventing the worst case scenario because the consequences are sobering. We do this by using the tools already available to us, namely insurance providers. You see, after retiring from medicine, I started a company to ensure medical record security and prevent medical insurance fraud. As a result, I saw that the mechanisms to address our COVID-19 problem already exist within the health and life insurance industries. For example, when you apply for life insurance, you formally attest to your personal habits, risk factors, and so on. When you seek care in an ER or clinic, you fill out several forms detailing your personal medical history and family medical history as well. My proposal is nothing beyond that. Just like with an insurance or medical questionnaire, someone seeking care for COVID-19 or a related illness self-scores their compliance with the COVID-19 guidelines. No police, no red tape, just a simple self-report. That score, however, allows doctors and nurses currently burdened with heartbreaking decisions about who gets medical resources that are in short supply to help determine, among many other considerations, who gets the necessary items. Harsh? Yes, but it's meant to be. These are the types of decisions we currently demand of overworked, underprotected, and physically at risk healthcare professionals. And when they do make those decisions, they do so with dubious legal protection. And now for the million-dollar question. What's to prevent someone from cheating on their self-score? That part's actually pretty straightforward. Insurance companies already have a motivation to identify cheating and lying, and that motivation is money. Fraud costs everyone's insurance providers something. Let's say that tragically someone died because their reckless person lied about their compliance and took a life-saving item. The reckless person's medical insurance provider just spent money based on a lie. The health and life insurance provider of the person that died lost money based on a lie. And the family of the dead person took a financial hit in addition to the loss of a loved one based on a lie. In short, the reckless person cost people money and heartbreak. But luckily, the technology and legal structure to identify the reckless person and hold them accountable already exists. We just need to repurpose it for pandemics. In the end, just as we can't fully prevent people from getting drunk and getting behind the wheel, neither can we fully prevent reckless behavior in the midst of a pandemic. But we hold drunk drivers accountable for their actions, making them think twice before getting behind the wheel. Likewise, with my proposal, we can hold irresponsible citizens accountable for recklessly contracting the virus and taking scarce resources from responsible people just trying to do the right thing, responsibly balancing financial and health concerns. And the accountability is harsh enough to prevent much of the recklessness, just as it is for drunk driving. In the end, trust but verify, and our virus war is about encouraging and rewarding what most of us do every day, and holding those who don't accountable. Most importantly, it avoids one-size-fits-all stay-at-home orders by bringing the law into line with today's realities. It provides the balance between personal responsibility, economic reality, and access to healthcare resources without having to resort to costly bailouts or draconian measures. I call it the Personal Freedom and Pandemic Resiliency Act, but it should just be the Practice Common Sense Act. Unfortunately, since our legislature has not been able to set aside politics long enough to unify and make it happen, I've taken on the mission to make Oregon a national leader in economic and pandemic resiliency. There are more details, of course, and I encourage you to click the link at the top of this post or go to the website address you see at the bottom of this video for details. But the big picture is that we all want to live in a state that values health, jobs, and our liberties, and this proposal allows for that by balancing the three. I can use your help in the endeavor, and I welcome your questions and comments to fine-tune the proposal. We can do this, folks. Right or left, we are in the same pickle, and it's time to roll up our sleeves and do what Americans and Oregonians in particular are known for, taking a dire situation and using it to accomplish astounding feats. Thank you.